right, here's our latest updated numbers through 21 bats. The flip, actually, you'll see there that my column there is zeroed out because the bat broke before I got to swing it. So, excuse me, the one-piece flip, custom flip LC is a repaint of the Blessed one piece. So I do have a Blessed. We ended up swinging that later on, and I have video of that, and I'll put my numbers up. So we're gonna add my numbers to this column. Obviously, me being the lowest swinger of the four, if I have a terrible number with that, obviously it'll bring that average down for that bat, and it can knock out a number one spot. If I do okay, it could stay there. So a lot will hinge on my numbers with that. So having a zero there could impact the rankings of that number one position. So we took that into account. So we did get in the cage, and I do have video of that. I'll put the video up with the updated numbers for the flip. So moving on, you see a lot of that stuff hasn't really changed too much. The OG Demon number 2 and a Rebellion Naughty, those are bats that we've done in the last month, so those haven't changed. The King of the Jungle was probably a newer one. That was a good bat. Again, that one broke before I got to swing it. So again, I have another one. We opened up, we started to swing a little bit, and if we have time, I'll do my numbers with that as well. I'm not sure where that sits, if my numbers one way or another based on what my average is would bring it up or down. So not as impactful not being in the number one spot. Like the flip, that's a big deal, but being a number 7 bat, I don't know if my numbers would even make that move at all. So if we have time, we will fill that in too, because I don't like having an empty spot for no reason. So the Aftermath, Bliss, and going down. The Bliss was actually a really good bat for us. That was our second Sinister that we swung. The first one was the white Sinister in the number 16 spot, which was just horrible for us. I don't know why. It was all webbed up. It was testing at a decent compression, and it just didn't give any of us good numbers. And it kind of set us with a bad taste moving forward with some of the, with having a Sinister in there. It was supposed to be the best Sinister and perform well, and it just didn't, and it set the table in the wrong direction for us. So coming out with the Bliss, newer, testing at 1310 to start was kind of like, oh, well, here we go, a Sinister that's testing even higher than the one we did. This is going to be bad. And it was actually felt better, hit better for a newer bat. So totally turned the page on our takes and feelings on the one-piece Sinister version. So that was good. That was a good surprise to have that come out and do well. So it lets you know that the bats, the handles, I don't really put too much stock in the handles. A lot of guys are saying, well, if it's a flexor handle, a stiffer handle, you're going to get a lot better results. Maybe a mile or two tops. I can't see it being that far off. Maybe the fib was a dud, but again, to have these many bats going out there and having so many with fib problems and possible duds or getting replaced or it just puts a bad taste in people's mouths to have so many bats that could be potentially lemons or failures or whatever the case may be. It adds too much complexity to picking up a bat and just hitting with it. So compression numbers and all that stuff are there, and if it doesn't hit, now you're looking at a handle to a fib to what generation to what version, and it's just so confusing. So we just want to pick up a bat and hit it and have it do well, and that one did. And you got OG DNA, Splatter, Fallout Creature. The Creature was another one. A lot of hype around the Creature bats. It just was another average bat. It did not hit the ball well. The tech was just very consistent throughout the barrel and sounds great. So I think, again, without having testing equipment and stuff to see how well a ball is actually really coming off a bat, you might get a little deception from the way that a ball will sound. And people always say that cage bombs and that ball was hammered and stuff, but was it really? That's what we find with some of these bats, that the noise plays a big factor into people's mental, what they thought they might have gotten. And then once you put a radar on it, it's a humbling experience for sure. As you see my numbers, I only averaged 86 with that Creature. So then that was a green Creature. And then I have people saying, well, the white one was better than the green. But then when they first come out, it was the same bat. So I think if you follow it, and if it's your bat, you're always going to want to say something. If it didn't perform the way you thought it was going to perform or whatever, There's always, oh, try this one or try that one or whatever. But again, these are all the same bats that we're trying with the same 4 people with the same machine and the same balls and the same whatever. So pick it up and go. And if we're like, oh, we got to try a white one, or this serial number, or this one or that one, it just adds too much complexity to it. So we if you want, we'll put the word green in front of that creature, so it'll be green creature, and we'll go from there if it makes people feel better about their creatures. Cyborg Karma. Karma was the Fallout version. The 0 there, that's in there because that was when I think Stokey was out with COVID. He missed a couple of bats. So there's a white Sinister at 16. And then the EST is a purple dinosaur. Again, that was our first bat that we did in the review. And that was probably like one of my worst bats. Getting the procedure down and going in and not really knowing what to expect and stuff. But middle of the road bat, lower end here, but it was just that's what we found out. Oh, the Worth and the Micans have that sleeve in there and the tech and stuff, and then getting caught by the noise. I think again that sleeve in there makes it sound like it's killing the ball, and it just didn't really go all that far. And that's the same thing with the Patriot and the Primo and the KP23 at the bottom. Those are just all like that same tech. And then the Nautilus. So again, the Nautilus coming in at 20. We did a 27-ounce balanced version, had nothing behind it. It was just a toothpick, even at a 27-ounce, and it weighed 27 ounces. It wasn't like it was super light on the scale, but there was no junk in the trunk. It felt like a toothpick, and swung light, felt light, had no oomph behind it. So, and then the numbers reflected that. It didn't hit hard, and so I ended up trading that or selling it and got rid of that. So then the KP23 was the blue and yellow one. It looked cool. It looked super cool. It just, obviously, coming in at 21, didn't hit for anything, but there it is. So 21, we still got a little ways to go, and we'll put the numbers up as we get there. So thanks for checking in, and as always, comment here, questions, anything else. Next Saturday, actually a week from today, we're doing a live video with the 4 of us together in my bat cave, and we'll do questions and answers. So we're going to kind of discuss our process, what we did, how we went about it, and then we might revisit, kind of go through the rankings of the bats here, and I have all the bats here laid out, and we'll talk about them, what we liked, what we didn't like, because again, we did these reviews, we swung a bat, and then we talked about it before we even knew the numbers, before we did anything. Like, just as soon as we got done swinging it, we would just talk about it, and then as the reviews went on, we got more experience with other bats. So maybe earlier on we might have said, this bat's not that good. And then as we got 10, 15 more bats on our belt, we might have said, ooh, well, you know what? We kind of said something back then, but then we're 15 bats in and nothing's done better than that one. So we're saying, that bat wasn't really that good. And all of a sudden nothing's done better than that. So how do we say that bat's not that good when it ends up being towards the top, or vice versa? We might have said, like the EST, for example, was our first bat we did. We might have said, this bat's not that good. But now I see here, there's 5 bats on this list that are under that. So, again, we'll talk about them again, and we'll field live questions. You guys can write them in. We'll read them off, and we'll answer them on the spot. If you got a specific question for any one of the 4 of us, or in general, our process, our procedure, how we picked which bats to go, or how we felt, or whatever, anything you want on how we did it, and feel free to write in, and we'll have the phones going live, and we'll be able to read your questions right off and fire away. So that's next week, next Saturday night. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking out with us here on this bat challenge, this ASA bat challenge, and look forward to giving you more stuff. Thanks, everybody.